Bitcoin and Litecoin, is the bull run over or is it just beginning? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Sunday. We're going to be taking a look at the charts and I'm going to let you know what I believe is going on. We're going to start out with Litecoin, then we're going to move on to Bitcoin. And at the end of the video, definitely stick around, especially if you haven't seen it yet. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart, where I believe we can hit 46,000 by the end of the year. I want to remind you guys, click in the description box below the video. That'll open up some links. There's some affiliate links in there. There's also a free Discord group in there. Definitely check it out. It's a great group if you guys are looking for somewhere to learn a little bit about trading and just get with a great community. Definitely check it out. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind it's still a speculative market. Do not put in more than you're willing to lose. And with that being said, if you're new here or you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. And then if you tick the little notification bell, that'll get you notified when I post new videos, as I do post every day to try to keep everybody updated. Also, smash those likes, leave your comments, let me know what you think, and share the video, guys. You belong to any groups or anything, get it out there. All right, let's look at what's going on. We're looking at Litecoin in the daily. And here's some targets up here. We're going to take a look at where I got them. Just going to kind of zip through them. We're looking at this as a cup and a handle. The measurement of the cup and the handle is the 180 range, which is this target right here. Then I have some higher targets. We're going to go into lower time frames to check those out. But as always, I am still bullish here. I do not believe this bull market is over. And in my opinion, it's just beginning. So pretty exciting times in crypto, guys. But I want to look at this now. The yellow lines here is the rising broadening wedge. And looking at a breakout, if we were to break out like, soon within the next day or two, my target on that would be about the 263. Obviously, it's not going to go straight up there, guys, but that's the just a longer term target. And then I have another one. If we ride up this sideways before breaking through this yellow line and get above it, break through around the 180 range. And this target will be more accessible, easier to find once we break this, which I do believe we're going to. But if we were to break up around the 180, then the target's about 300. So that is what I'm looking at now. Like I said, we'll go into some more targets in the more immediate time frames. But let's go into the RSI. We have been watching this forever, and I had said in the RSI, this looks like a bull flag, really wants to pop. I still believe that. I still believe we have room. As you can see, we had a rising wedge here, or a rising channel, I'm sorry. And this is a little bear trap we had, and then popped back in the channel, popped into a falling channel, which I believe we are going to be popping up out of very soon. I don't like to give exact times because that's near impossible to do. So look at the 4 hour. Something I wanted to mention, guys, if you noticed, my targets and stuff never change, and we've had a great year since I called the bottom in December, and we've been hitting every target since. And as you guys know, I don't like a bunch of indicators. I think it's a bunch of noise. I don't believe in all them indicators, and the other analysts out there, 99% of them just copy each other. When you see one start talking about an indicator like the NVT that was calling the top, then they all started talking about it. And then, the Scotch RSI, and then whatever, they all just keep following each other. I don't believe there is a big percentage of them guys that really even know what they're talking about. They just copy each other. That's why they've been, all calling the same things with the same indicators. Don't get sucked into that, guys. Also, don't pay for the paid courses and shit. You can learn that for free. I'm sorry I go on these rants, but I know new people watch the videos every time, and I want you guys to hear this. I hate seeing people get ripped off by these analysts, so-called analysts out there that charge you for, you know, paid courses and stuff that are just teaching you the basics. They charge you outrageous amounts of money because obviously they can't trade. That's how they make money, is by ripping you off. So just keep that in mind, guys. Don't get scammed into that crap. All you're doing is feeding their gambling and drug addiction habits. So, all right, let's I'm done with that. Let's look at what's going on here. So we're into the 4 hour now. Let's look at the 4 hour RSI. As you can see, we had the falling channel that we're still in here. We've popped out of this wedge over here. And I'm going through this just to show you guys how to kind of keep an eye on this stuff. Definitely suggest you do your own charting. But anyway, we popped out of this wedge into a falling channel, popped out of the falling channel into another, popped out of this one into another, popped out of this one into another. As you can see, I had this line drawn in here, which is this is a falling wedge that we popped up out of. I drew another one here, looked like another falling wedge was forming, we popped out of. Came back down, tested for support. I believe we're headed back up to test this support line on the top of this falling channel here. If that breaks, then we're probably most likely going to come up and test the top of this big channel again. And that's why I believe we're going to continue up from here. I will zoom into the price action now on the 4 hour. And we're going to look at some targets, why I have them. I do want to take a look at the bearish scenario, guys. And this here is the bottom trend line of this rising broadening wedge. And this is my absolute worst case scenario, is around the $60 range, which I know a lot of people are calling because of the halving and all that. I don't believe in all that stuff. I believe in the charts will tell you everything you need to know, just the charts. You don't have to follow the news and all that. So, all right, let's look at where we're at. I have these targets in here in case we were to drop out of the bottom of this triangle I have formed here, or the chart has formed here, I have drawn out. And the first line of support, if this breaks, and I'm looking at it right around the 134 range, guys. If we break below that, obviously we're most likely headed down. Again, I'm bullish. I don't think we're going down, but I do want to make you aware of this. So looking at the 200 EMA here on the 4 hour, that I would look for that for support, and that'd be around the $120 to $121 range. And if that was to break, then I'd be looking over here at the bottom of this rising broadening wedge, which would be the 112 range. So that's my bearish case scenario, obviously. And if that broke, then I'd be looking at more lower lows. We would have some support here at the 100, but yeah, that's where I'm at with that, guys. So let's look at the bullish scenario, which I believe in. All right, so I have these targets up here, the 166, and obviously if we got up there soon and broke this, then we would definitely be looking at the higher targets. I believe once we break out of the top of this rising broadening wedge here, let me zoom out so you can see that once we break through the top of this, we're going to come back down, and this should be our new support. And again, I believe we are in a parabolic bull run, and I don't think we're going to have any huge corrections that everybody is talking about. You remember, everybody was calling, you know, for weeks now, saying blow off top, and then they all started saying it because they all follow each other. They don't, if you're watching one, you're watching them all, and 90% of the time they suck. Anyways, I'm looking at this as a flagpole, and this being the bull flag. The first target off of that would be the 176 range, and actually I have a 166, and I'll show you how I got that. That was just measuring the triangle here, and if we put that to the breakout point, that's 166. So that would be the first target I look for with a breakout of this top trend line here on the triangle. And obviously the second one would be the measured move of this being the flagpole. Then I have a higher one here, and remember the 180 is the cup and handle target. So, and as we get closer to these, it'll be easier to judge, you know, where we're going. But I do like to look at every scenario, and I'm looking at this as a flagpole also, and then that is the bull flag, and that gets us up to around the 191 range. There's so much stuff pointing up here, guys. I can't see us going down. That 191 range could be testing the top of this rising broadening wedge. So that's where I'm at with Litecoin, guys. I'm still bullish. Just keep an eye on this triangle. We could still be sideways action in here for a while, but I do have these trend lines in where you can see once we broke through this one, it became resistance. And now we've been riding this trend line here for quite a while. If we break through, then I think we're coming down to test the bottom of this triangle, like I said, around the 134 range. If we break below that, then I'd start looking at the lower targets. But I don't see it breaking down below this, guys. So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the daily. Okay, we had these targets here. We were looking at this as a rising broadening wedge, and we had a measured move off that, which we hit at the 9600 range. Worked out beautifully, and we're continuing up now. We had this rising channel here, which we have broken out of, guys. We could come back and test the top of this for support, and we'll look at that in lower time frames, but I want to give you my targets from here. And the measured move of this channel in the breakout is going to be around the 12,000, 12,100, right in there. And the measured move, if we measure this as the flagpole from the breakout down here, and this being the flag, bull flag, then the measured move is right around the 12.5 range. So pretty interesting, guys. I think, whoops, sorry about that. I think we're definitely headed up here. I don't see us having a correction before the $12,000 range, a big correction, guys. I'm not saying, obviously, we're going to have a lot of little ups and downs here like we're having right now. But for the most part, I do believe we're heading up from here. And I am not going to put a bunch of fear into people and tell them otherwise. So let's look at let's look at the RSI. All right, so in the RSI here, we have this rising channel that we've watched since December. Excuse me. We broke through here, the bottom, and I drew another support line once we hit that, just lining up with this one. As you can see, it became support. We broke back up into the channel, came back down. This was support again, then we finally broke through, and we created a falling channel. We broke out of the falling channel, got resistance at the bottom of this channel again on the white line, came back down, and now we are back in the main rising channel. So it's possible we come back down and test this one more time, possibly even this one, before moving up. But I do see our RSI in the daily getting back up to this point, guys. So like I said, I'm still bullish here. There's no reason to believe there's a big correction, in my opinion, or a big correction on the way. Now, if we're looking at the 4 hour, we had a rising wedge we broke down out of into a falling channel, and now we've broken into a broadening wedge. Possible that we come down and test the bottom of this again one more time, but I believe we're going to continue up first. But once we break this, we will probably have a correction or some sideways action, just because we're overbought here and we break down here. If you guys have been watching, you know, the RSI can reset while the price goes sideways, and that creates hidden bullish divergence, which is lower lows in the RSI and higher lows in the price action, which is just the RSI resetting for another push up. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, like I said, you can join the Discord group, and you know, people are extremely helpful in there. Now we're going to look at the bearish scenario first, even though I don't believe that we're going to have the bearish scenario here. But I do want to look at it because we need to be prepared for anything that happens. So first off, I want to point out this rising channel that we broke out of here. And now we have this rising channel that we've broken out of here. And we'll take a look at the targets and what I think is going on there in a second. And definitely don't forget to stick around to the end of the video for the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly. It's getting really interesting, guys. So looking at the top of this broadening wedge, the yellow lines here that we broke out of right here. If we were to come almost directly straight down, you know, we would be looking at 75. Actually, I'm going to move that up. I highly doubt we would have a wick like that. Let's put it up around the 78. This is just a guesstimate. Like I said, I don't believe it's going to happen, but we have to be prepared for the worst. Anyways, looking at this as the rising channel, if we were to break down, guys, and come back down to the bottom of that, you guys remember I have this as the absolute worst target, worst case scenario. It's at 7,700 now, which would also be the top of this rising channel that we broke out of here. So keep that in mind. It's possible, you know, keep an eye on these trend lines. I suggest you do your own charting if you're trading. Don't take anybody else's opinion. Yeah, that's like I said, worst case scenario. But if we were to come back down and test the top of this, it would be around the 7,800, somewhere in there, give or take. And if that was to break, then we're, like I said, worst case scenario, 6,700 bucks. You're looking for a Bitcoin under 6,700 bucks. I think your ass out. And honestly, the more this keeps going, if you're looking for a Bitcoin under 9,000, I think your ass out. So again, guys, this is just my opinions. I love sharing my opinion. But anyway, if you look here how this broke out of this rising channel, I've drawn this in the last couple videos, but I'm just going to show you right now. This, you can see this formation here before the breakout. We had the same formation here before the breakout, and obviously look how big of a breakout we had there. I'm going to look at these. We already looked at these targets here, so I am going to zoom in a little bit and see what's going on with this. We've tried to break out of this triangle, as you can see, and it looks like we're coming back down to test for support. We'll look in a lower time frame in a second to check it. But I do have another thing I'm looking at. If you look at this, let's stretch this out a little bit. If you look at the measured move off of the breakdown of this, if we were to come back down and break down the bottom of this triangle, that would line up with the 55 EMA, and that's around the 95, between 9,500 and 9,600. I don't think that's going to happen, guys, but if it did, I would be looking for support off these EMAs. First line of support would be around 10,200, which would also be retesting the top of this channel. So keep that in mind. It's possible we pop up and come back down and test the 10.2. But unless we broke through the bottom of this channel, I wouldn't be seeing any other lower lows. And let's, like I said, if it did, I would look for this 55 EMA to be supported at 95. But again, guys, I'm bullish here. I don't believe that's going to happen. Let's go into the 1 hour. And as you can see, we tried to pop out. We could be just coming back and testing the top for support before our move up. And see something. The measured move of that would be right around our 12,100 range. So like I said, I definitely see us continuing up from here, guys. Every time somebody sees a little dip, everybody gets all stressed out. It's crazy. My wife made this t-shirt. I survived the Great Bitcoin Crash 20 minutes ago. That's what it's like when you watch people that are new to this. And I'm not making fun of them. I was there once too, that, you know, you get all paranoid. But when you really look at the big picture of the market and what's going on, it's a whole lot less scary, guys. Excuse me. Let's look at the 15-minute chart now. Like I said, as you can see, and this is a little off when you go into the 15-minute, but so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We broke out of the top of the triangle here, now coming back down to test it for support. And I believe once all these EMAs cross, this is my 8, my 13, and my 21. Once they cross over to 55 again, that'll give us our boost up. And I believe we're going to see a nice move up today. It'll be a really nice move if we break that 11.2. A little more than that. It's around 11,215. We break that, guys, it's going to push up pretty good, pretty hard. Again, my targets are at least 12,000 from here, so that's what I'm looking at for possibly. I believe this is possibly most likely going to happen today, but if not, it's going to happen, you know, during the week, next week. Like I said, I hate to call out times on it, but we're definitely looking good here, guys. Like I said, my targets for now are between 12,000 and 12,500. or 12,600. And that's not to say we stop there. You know, we may come up here, hit the 1200, hit the 12.6, come back down, bounce around in here for a little bit, and then continue up to a much higher target. And we'll take a look at that in a little bit. But let's take a look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. This is my favorite chart comparison. This is why I'm calling 46,000 by the end of the year. And I think I'm being conservative. I think it could go much higher. Right here's my target. By the end of the year, I believe we're going to hit 46 to 47,000. And if you look at the daily Bitcoin chart here, I've drawn trend lines from each peak all the way down to where it broke down at 6,000. And when we zoom in, you'll see each one of these became resistance, and then we broke through, it became support. This blue trend line here, this was our resistance back here before the bull run in 2017, and then it became our support through the bear market. And obviously once we broke through came resistance, but we've broken through, and that's where I come up with the worst case scenario around the 6,700, guys. And that'd have to come down pretty quick to do that. So I honestly don't think that's in the cards anymore. I have another trend line drawn here from this support here. There's 3 touches of support come across, and that's where we're at now. I believe if we close this weekly candle above this, we are in excellent shape, guys. Let me go over to, now keep an eye on the yellow line. Keep an eye on this whole formation. I believe in patterns, guys. And we're going to click over to the gold weekly chart and look at this pattern. It's amazing. This is why I believe we're going to hit my target up here at 46 to 47,000 this year. And like I said, I think that's being conservative. I think we could go much, much higher. I think this bull market is going to dwarf this one here. It's going to be a great year. But let's look at the gold chart now. And as you can see, I have an arrow here. I think we're somewhere in this area. And obviously, I'll click back and forth so you can see the similarities and what I believe is happening. And I've been following this since January. If you've been following my channel, we started following it. We started following the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly right in this area, and it's played out beautifully, guys. So kudos to you if you were with me since we called the bottom in December. I know a lot of other analysts are saying that nobody called it, nobody was calling for this rise and everything. If you watch my videos, guys, go back as far as you want. I've been calling for this. So anyways, where we're at now, I want to show you that about the way it bottomed here on this pattern. And I want to also talk about right in this area, 2003, the gold ETF was approved. I know people say the Bitcoin ETF isn't going to do anything. Boom. Now, this isn't to say that it's going to be the ETF for sure, but we are right in the area in this pattern waiting on some big news. There's going to be some huge news coming anytime, you know, within the next 30 to 60 days, maybe before. But I'm definitely looking for some huge news, guys. We are right in that area ready for it. And as you can see, this pump here, I believe insiders know stuff before we do. So something's already happened. We just don't know about it. That's how the charts work, in my opinion. So look how it bottomed here. We had 2 touches on this bottom trend line. And if we look at Bitcoin, same thing, guys. We had 2 touches on this bottom trend line before this move up. Anybody that's not seeing this, I don't understand why nobody else is looking at this, but I'm happy we are. So anyways, you can see what happened after that. Like I said, each one of these lines from the peak to where it broke down at 6,000 was resistance, became support. Mind you, we had these lines drawn in before this ever happened, and you can see how everything just lined up perfectly. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And let's go into the weekly RSI, and I'll show you. We were watching this too since January, right in this area. Actually, it was right here when we were getting our second test of resistance. But this is a 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. This trend line in here, which is the exact same trend line as over here. We had 2 touches of resistance before breaking through and starting the bull market. 2017 bull market, 2018 bear market, same trend line, 2 touches of resistance before starting the bull market. It doesn't get much clearer, guys. Let's look at the monthly. If we're looking at the monthly, I have these 2 arcs drawn in here, and I'll show you why this one's going to be different, this bull run at the end. But this is the 2013 bull market, followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows represents a new low in the RSI. We had 4 of them before the bull market. Same thing here, 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows represents a new low in the RSI. Before the bear market, or the bull market, we had 4 lows and boom. Only difference is this is going to be a lot quicker, guys. I'm pretty damn confident in it. But again, do your own due diligence and your own research. And if you enjoyed the video, definitely consider subscribing by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Smash the likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. I'll try to do a live stream today. No promises, but keep an eye out for it. Make sure your notifications are on. Have a great day, and I'm out. See ya.